Hi, this is Daniel Carrero, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do some color selection and blending techniques to make a vintage photo. So we're going to start by opening up our files. So in this one we're going to use a logo that we've created, a drawn picture of Tesla, and a vintage background. So we're going to open all three of our files in Photoshop. And we're going to start working with our drawn picture of Tesla. So the first thing we're going to do is crop this a little bit to get rid of these excesses. So we're going to open the crop tool, cut out some of this extra stuff so we just have the nice picture. There we go. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go to Image and Adjustments and desaturate the picture. So this is going to get rid of all those colors that are not black and white to try to get it as much black and white as possible. Now the next thing we're going to do is get rid of some of these grays, and for that we're going to go back to Image and Adjustments and change the levels. So we're going to get these guys as close to this white as possible while trying to maintain the black outlines. So if you get too far, it won't look right. Just going to have to find the sweet spot. I think this is going to be it. Try to keep our lines looking good. Alright, that looks about where we want it. So we're going to hit OK on that. Now that we've got this set up, we can go ahead and duplicate this layer. So we're just going to make another one and then delete the background layer. So we're just left with this one. Now we can go ahead and get our vintage, use the select tool, and drag it over here. And we use Control T to resize this. And we're going to make this take up the whole screen. Right there. And then we hit OK on that. Now, to get these together, we put our first picture on top and we select the multiply option while selecting this one. Should make this one normal. Select this one and then multiply. There we go. Now we have a picture on top, and you can see them both. Now we're going to add our logo to this. So we find our logo picture, and for this one the cropping's not really going to matter. We're just going to drag this over here. We can put it right on top, it won't matter. Now comes the tricky part, so we're going to zoom in a little bit to make this easier to work with. But we're going to use the polygonal lasso tool and start selecting our edges. Just pick a nice corner and just follow along Let's see if I can actually zoom in a little bit more. And since we clicked the wrong spot, we can just hit escape. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Make this a little easier on me. Alright. Back. Where is she? There we go. Polygonal lasso tool. Start clicking right there. And we'll get our clicks nice and close together. That was a bad click, so we'll hit backspace. This part's going to take a minute. Luckily most of these lines are straight for the most part. If they're not, it's because I can't draw very straight. But we'll follow along these borders. When it hits the circle, we'll do shift click to add another section for the next letter. And we'll do this until we get the whole logo. And hold and shift again so we can add our next section. Once you hold and shift and start it, you can let go of the shift button. Try to be as precise as possible. It's a little bit tedious. Made it a little easier on myself by having as many straight lines as possible. There we go. Hold and shift again, and the next one. Better job with the straight lines on this letter. Go, shift again. Do the last letter here. And then we do Alt Select to get the minus sign to get rid of this inner part of the A. And that's it. We have everything selected for the logo. So now we will add a new layer, and we will use the Paint Bucket tool It should be hiding behind the gradient here. And we'll select our color. I think Tesla reminds me of electricity, so let's do like an electric blue. That's a nice blue, so we'll hit OK. And then we should just be able to click inside of our paint bucket. And there we go. Now we have our logo. Now we can hide the back layer, show it there, and we can zoom out, see how we're looking. Use the move tool. Move this logo down here. And it looks like it's a good size, so we'll leave it alone. So now we'll use Control D to deselect. Now we have that set up for us. Now, the next thing we're going to do is add our drop shadow to this logo. So we're going to double click in the empty space here and go and find our drop shadow. We don't need too many, just one. You can see the shadow there, so let's give it a nice angle, kind of like that. And you can change the distance and the spread. That's nice and noticeable. I like that, so we'll leave that there. And we'll hit OK. Now for the logo, we'll take the fill and we'll drop it down. I want to be able to see that blue still, so I'm not going to drop it too much. But that will let the background come through, and you could have it on top of him. Maybe we'll just give it a little bit of a layer on top. Right there looks good. Now we can add a nice border to this. So to add the border, we're going to start with a new layer. And on this layer, we're going to draw a gradient. Should be right behind my paint bucket. Pick the gradient, and now we need to pick some colors for it. So I'm going to change these to more of a blue color scheme. Now, yellow is actually kind of nice. We'll leave the yellow in there. This red, though, let's go for like a blue-green, maybe. And we'll make it go back to blue. Yeah, that looks nice. So hit OK and pick the shape that we want. So let's try this diamond, see how this looks. And we'll draw across. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, so we'll keep that. So now what we can do is draw a rectangle in here for our border. Just gonna eyeball this, but try to make it stand out just enough. And then right click this and select layer via cut. And that'll separate this into two layers. If we hide the top one, we can see that the layer's looking nice. Now what we'll do to this layer, the inner one, is we'll drop the fill to 0 all the way down. But we're keeping this layer so that we can double click it and add another drop shadow. Now you see it looks like the photo itself has a nice shadow, but it's really just that layer. And then we'll hit OK. And that will complete our portrait. We've got our nice shadows on the logo and the picture. And that's all there is to it. Thank you so much.